There's a wide range of influences that impact how we acquire knowledge and how we acquire our values and our approaches and our view of the world. And of course, as when we're first born, and we're heavily influenced by our parents, and as we grow up, we receive influences from our peers, from our friends, we receive influences from our teachers, and some of us do get influenced by the church that we attend, if that's the case. But as we enter our working life in an organisation, we can be impacted directly by our bosses, by the team leaders, and by the leaders of the business. Over time, there are two sorts of teachings that we pick up, two different types of teaching styles. One style is where we're coached. Another style is where we're directed and told what to do. But a more effective style can be the person who is a mentor. Now, it's inevitable that if you're not sure what to do with your role, with your job, you're going to be directed by your boss and told this is what you need to do. Then once you've done that, then you need to do this. But if you want to embark on a career path in any organisation, it tends to be you rely on a coach to equip you with the skills and to teach you the knowledge and ensure that you adapt the attitude that you need to succeed in whatever business you're in. And often the coach is the one who has a clear vision of what you need to know and what you need to understand to succeed in whatever that role is, and perhaps in other roles in the business. The coach can support and challenge you in everything you do, but essentially they feed you with information, they feed you with skills so that you are successful, and they have a vision for you. But the mentor is quite a different role. And I've had some great mentors over the years in the businesses that I've worked in. But the mentor normally tries to enable you to reflect back on what you're thinking, reflect back on the actions that you've taken, and reflect back on the views that you hold. They often achieve this through really profound questioning. And I believe that the key skill of a mentor is to be able to ask those reflective questions. Questions such as, what are you thinking about now? What have you achieved so far this week, this year, in your career, in this job? What are the major roadblocks that are preventing you from progressing forward? Or something like, what's working for you at the moment? Have you done anything to improve things? I had a fabulous mentor many years ago in the business that I'm working in at the moment. Run you through the story that which would illustrate his strength in mentoring. Our business was recently taken over by another organisation, quite a major organisation, who is very skilled in much in what they did. But they had a new marketing manager. They put in a new marketing manager from this other organisation who appeared to be determined to discard all marketing activity and strategy that was currently in place, and for all intents and purposes proved to be effective. So my mentor took it upon himself to go and see this marketing manager, and his goal was to ask the questions for him to reflect on what he was about to do and reflect back on the actions that are already in place, or the activities that are already in place. And the end goal was to persuade the marketing manager, the new marketing manager, to maintain the status quo and continue with the strategies that were in place. So Malcolm, he said, come with me, and he took me and off to the marketing manager's office, invited himself in, just asked if he could catch up with the chat. He brought Malcolm along because Malcolm's a bit of a subject matter expert in what he was about to talk about. And before my very eyes, over a 20 to 30 minute discussion, this mentor of mine illustrated the profound effect of asking really effective questions of the marketing manager, where the end point resulted in the marketing manager convincing himself that the current status quo needs to be maintained. And whatever thoughts he had of changing things completely, upending everything, implementing a completely newly revamped strategy that might have worked elsewhere, but he agreed that perhaps it doesn't apply in this instance. And this marketing manager really had no idea that he had turned full circle on his strategy. The art of really great questions that this mentor illustrated to me as an observer to show how effective it can be in persuading somebody to do something completely different than what they probably originally intended. That is one sort of mentor. I've seen another sort of mentor, and I've experienced personally. And this other mentor was a great comedy coach of mine. They were very skilled in what they did. They were a stand-up comedian, a great humorist, writer of humour, and he ran various training courses. He was very effective in what he did. And I treated him like a mentor. I appreciated his mentoring skills. He didn't have a questioning strategy. He didn't have great reflective questions. What he did, and every time I went to visit him, he would walk me around his studio and show me all the projects that he was involved in. And the studio was quite vast. It was like a commercial premises. It had 3 floors. It had a storage shed out the back. And for the whole hour of each mentoring session, he would just walk me around and display all the projects that he had on the go, and of course they were all to do with comedy or humour. He would take me to his office where he was writing a book. He would take me to a special wall where he was mapping out the timeline of comedy. He would take me out to the back shed and show me all the artefacts from comedy over years gone by. Roy Reen's old boots, Moe's funny hat, Graham Kennedy's microphone. He kept them all in storage. He was cataloguing them all for a museum. He had worksheets. He had a library of comedy books. He just had so many projects on the go, and he was involved in so many activities. He invited to participate in so many events and contribute to so many things that all he did was just lay it out in front of me of the activity that he embarked in, and he gave me some tips, he gave me some hints. He didn't even ever ask me what I might be interested in or what I was there to ask about. He just displayed his life in front of me and showed his enthusiasm for the topic that he was choosing. And whatever I wanted to pick up from that was entirely up to me. Whatever inspired me from whatever he was showing me was entirely up to me. And not everything was of interest to me, but there was so much more there that did inspire me. And for that reason, I consider him a great mentor, because he got me thinking, he got me inspired and got me enthused about so many different things. So there we go, we've got 2 types of mentoring. The one who's really skilled at reflective questioning, reflecting back on what you're doing, what you as the mentee are doing, getting you to consider your current situation, getting you to consider how you got to that current situation, and getting you to reflect on what you want to do into the future and how you might want to change. Whereas the other one, I tend to describe as a bit more proactive, where they displayed a wide range, a cornucopia of possibilities, and I got quite a bit from that. So that begs the question, what sort of mentor are you?